Alright, we have the Shredder versus the Norwegian, aka Gaming Violinist. Which is whose point of perspective we are watching from here. It looks like he is running one of my favorite decks, the Vampire Power. That's exciting. He's got it in hand. Thinking about not taking the card draw since he's already got the Vampire in hand. Does he want to keep the gold gain? He's throwing away, trying to figure out what he wants to throw away. Gonna chuck most of it back. Gonna keep a little bit of gold gain, a little bit of card draw, a little bit of base power uppage. We've got the Shredder with more Vran, and so we'll have to see what sort of deck that will be brought with. There's a lot of options that the Shredder has to be able to deal with this. So we'll find out in a minute what it ends up being. White Wolf gonna kinda be his only option for this opening chapter, which is not like great. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. Decides he doesn't want to use the KGP because there is a 100% chance that it would discard Vamp Power. So he's gonna hold on to that. Gonna draw 2 cards, take 5 damage. His big thing here is that he needs to gain gold as quickly as possible so he can get a Vamp Power out on turn 3. Turn 2, Chapter 2 would be nice, but it's not going to happen since he's going to end Chapter 1 with 2 gold. Looks like we do have a little bit of an aggressive play coming from Shredder here, because he ends this chapter with a Ketsek. So we've got 8 damage coming this direction. That's putting Norwegian all the way down to close to mortal in the end of Chapter 1. That doesn't feel great. He doesn't have any extra base attack. He's got a Grotworm, so if he can get into it... Okay, so now he's got... It's not a great position to be in. Gonna have to use the Firewatch just to heal up, and going to spend more gold just to stay alive. So he's only going to net 2 gold out of this transaction. He's gonna get a base attack, which is okay. I mean, that's a really not ideal chapter, and he's going to be very much on the back foot at this point because he's more or less wasting 2 chapters now with this play. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of options. Okay, so he's going to go for a more risky play with the KGP agent. Shredder has locked in, so he needs to make up this mind. He wants to decide, does he go for the heal? This one, it'll save him some health. It will regain some health with the Firewatch, but his coin level is still not going to be great. He's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in hand. So, ooh, the bouncers. Oh, and they've... what did I tell you? What did I tell you? 100% chance KGP agent discards Vamp Power. 100% chance. This game is over. There's no way that he wins. Scarface Pete, that's going to trash a lot of stuff. All right, I shouldn't say that it's completely over. It's not going well for the Norwegian. Gonna lose some of his heal, gonna lose some heal, gonna lose some card draw. I mean, none of those feel good. He doesn't have anything in his hand that he really, really wants at this point. And the Grotworm gonna go to town on Norwegian's face. Does get some gold, but he's gonna spend it here on the Firewatch. This is his chance to maybe pull something big. It's an 8 health swing, which is nice. It's going to keep him alive for the moment. Does get the Cerebus, so that's good. Gets rid of some reach for the Shredder. If Norwegian can draw really well, he might have a chance to stabilize. It's not bad. He's got up to 5 base attack, potentially up to 6 with the card draw. Doesn't feel too bad. How highly does he value those 2 cards in his hand? Doesn't seem like a lot. So if he can stay alive, he's not in a terrible spot. KGP can safely discard either one of those. At this point, Norwegian doesn't need either Commander or Ogre Warlord. He's going to draw with the Crassian Warrior, and he tosses back his Kazaj at the end of the chapter so that he's not helping out Shredder get through anything here. But there's a lot of things that Shredder can have that just deal damage. 6 damage? Not a lot of damage that needs to be done. So Shredder, he has plenty of options. Gaming Violinist is kind of up to the fate of this card draw. Going into Chapter 3, this feels real bad. He's just kind of holding on for dear life at this point. Shredder, going to go with the Kale. Removing the next 2 cards, losing their health. Gets a little bit more armor. We've got some gold gain, some armor gain. It looks like, oh wow, he's going to tank the 15 Jad. So he's kind of under the assumption, the correct assumption, that Norwegian doesn't have anything that's going to interact with the Shredder and deal damage. So he was able to be safe. It was a smart play in removing his weapon potential. And with the full Darox, there it goes. That's putting him up to 7 base attack. There's a lot of things that he can start going into with 7 base attack. He can just go into the Ketzek next turn if he wants. Fortunately, Norwegian does have Colomancer, so he's going to be able to be not dead slot 1. Oh man, there's so much gold gain because that is the point of this deck. He's finally going to get a chance to play a full chapter of cards, which feels good. So he's going to heal, going to double his gold up to 10, and going to heal some more. That is a good Ogre Chieftain. That's going to take 5 damage on Shredder, so he's slowly whittling himself down unless he's got some heal either in his hand or in his next draw. Norwegian might be in a decent position. He's going to heal again, going up to 13, and he's got 7 base attacks. So they're on the same base attack level, and now, for almost the first time this game, Shredder is Norwegian is ahead. They're tied in base attack, tied in gold, and Norwegian's ahead in health. He just needs something to spend it on. He's got the Afflicted. That feels good. He has Commander Ziliana. That'll provide some health for him. He's got another base attack coming. Use Worthy Opponent first. Oh, okay, so he's Worthy Opponenting into... That's an interesting choice, that he's going up a base attack there as opposed to just keeping the... Either using the... So he gives 5 armor with the Warlord at the end of this chapter. I'm not a huge fan of that, especially since he'll be taking damage to go into it. The Watchtower Guard would have given him some armor and a weapon, which would have advantaged him. The Afflicted would have only healed him. That would have been a positive thing. So it's an interesting choice at this point. Bouncer going to come out, see if that hits something worthwhile. Shredder is down at... What happened? Oh, advertisements. Shredder is going to hit the Ogre Warlord, which, I mean, it's not great. Shredder does also get his 4/2 weapon for free, effectively free, which feels good. And with this... Oh, that's almost a death blow. So he gives Shredder 5 armor, which, again, just basically keeps him alive. But he's going first. I think he got it. He did. That was much closer than it should have been. But Norwegian, because he's first, ended up winning this one. So that was super close. That was much, much, much too close for comfort. The first 3 chapters, a complete waste of Norwegian's time. He was not making headway. But at the very end, Shredder with some rather risky plays, unnecessarily, in my opinion, taking into a Jad. That really turned this one around. So Shredder's going up 1-0 over... No, Norwegian's going up 1-0 over the Shredder in this best of 3 round 2 match. Going into game number 2 between Norwegian and the Shredder, looks like it's going to be an Ozan versus Morvran, which it might be the same deck again, or it could be something completely different from the Shredder, so we'll have to see here. It looks like Norwegian has some decent big cards in this opening hand. Lots of options. He's got his 4 base attack potential there with the Cerebus into Jad. He's going to toss back the KGP, going to toss back the health, going to toss back the endgame Ogre. Nope, he's not. He's going to hold on to the Ogre. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe. Ogre Chieftain's a good card to play, chapter like 4 or 5. So when your opponent has big health, he's going to hold on to it. Seeing how Norwegian tanked into a Jad last turn, it might not be a terrible play to be able to go into that. Gonna Noom into Tormented Demon, into Jad, into Jad. That's a just very nice, standard, open hand. Because he's second, he knows he's not gonna carry the weapon. Doesn't know. He doesn't technically know he's gonna have the weapon at the beginning of the next chapter. So he wants to get both those Jads in now while he has the opportunity. And it looks like open slotting for the Shredder. This is not going well for him at this point. We've got at least 2 open slots, perhaps 3, before a final card draw, I presume, at the end of the chapter. Getting a weapon, going up to the 10-11 attack. Feels good. I guess it was just a temporary attack. I was going to say, that sounds strong, but no, here he goes. Oh, with the clutch. Calphite Emissary. Gonna remove that weapon. Gonna remove that armor. He's gonna tank the Jad. I mean, he's not dead unless Shredder has something in hand that deals 8 damage just straight off the bat. But I don't think there's anything that Shredder can do to immediately kill him. Norwegian does get to go up to 5 base health. Going to heal a little bit and then go into some damage with a little bit of armor. Going to think about dropping down the camel so that he can just heal and then armor up. Okay, so this is a little bit more of an aggressive play than I would have expected. And is that it is enough. Ouch. So that's the one card that he needed. First OP. So there it is. Shredder is going to take game number 2 in a very quick series with that, like, 1 card placement. The Calphite Emissary, that was just super smart placement that won him that game. So we're going to move into game number 3. It is down to this. This is the last game between these two. One of them is going to move on. One of them going to drop down to the loser's bracket. All right, we are moving into this final match with the Shredder versus the Norwegian. We've got Shredder playing Veneskula. We've got Norwegian playing his Morvran. And it looks like he's got just an AP gain, all as well, sort of Morvran deck planned out for us here. He's got some strikes. He's got some weapon gain. He's got his full Darox in there. Gonna think about keeping both Tormented. Just gonna keep one. That's probably the smartest play. So he has some options to go from Bouncer into Tormented into Jad. Then he's got an open slot. He doesn't have any card draw, which isn't great. Keeping the Bouncer there in slot 2 means that slot 2 of Shredder's is going to be aggressive. So there's a lot of things that Shredder could go into if she's playing an AP gain sort of Veneskula. It's a potential that they go into like a Crassian. There's the Trey Estate. That's what I was wondering if would be there in slot 2. I was expecting kind of a worthy opponent, but apparently Shredder thinks, nah, we'll just go into this with the with the what's the wow, I can't remember the guy's name. The weapon that he's got. Gonna remove a base attack, and that doesn't feel great because now he's gonna take 2 hits from this, and he tanks the Jad. Is he dead? He is. Yeah, he's dead because this base attack goes away, and that is a chapter 1 win for the Shredder. So, game 1 felt bad for Norwegian. These were just quick games. That's rough. That's really rough. Shredder completely played super well, read those cards, had an insane card placement, and is going to take this one really quickly, 2-1 in favor of Shredder. So Shredder's going to move on to round 3, and Gaming Violinist Norwegian, he's going to drop down to the loser's bracket in this Chronicle RuneScape final tournament.